Thank God for the wake up. Thank God for the wake up. Thank God for the wake up. I'm your host, Luis Lopez, and you're listening to Talking Cancer, My Journey, My Way. Welcome. I'm hoping everybody had a great Labor Day. Sounds good, right? Yesterday I had a slight topic on um, my results and my genetic testing results, and whether this is being passed down to my kids. So the Lynch syndrome for colon cancer is what it's called, and all the tests basically say, from what I could read, and were were negative. So that's a good thing. But I am going to go into it more once I get to talk to my doctor about it. But as I was sitting here, going through things and articles or whatever, um, I found an article about today's host, Craig Melvin. He's a co-anchor, I believe, and it was published in People magazine um, just recently, August 29th. And what I didn't know about Craig Melvin is that his brother, I believe his name is Lawrence, his brother died from colon cancer. So, first of all, I'd like to say rest in peace. Um, but what I come to find out is that now um, he wants to help. And he published an article, people published an article on Craig Melvin titled "Craig Melvin Wants to Save Lives After Late Brother Lawrence Ignored Signs of Colon Cancer." And this is an exclusive, excuse me. But I wanted to read you the article, um, just to help you, just to let you know that, hey, people are out there, and especially men are wanting to talk about it, but not enough men are willing to talk about it. As I go into research and talk about this stuff, I find more women articles on colon cancer versus men, or at least, so far that's what I've found. And it's definitely not trying to take away from the women at all. You know what I mean? But for whatever stigma that we have as men wanting to go get checked up and things like that, and having that exam, it's not ideal. That we have something go back there and look for things. So probably about the easiest way to put it. But I wanted to just read to you the article, and just kind of give you an idea more about Craig Melvin. And he's, like I said, you see him every morning on the Today Show, and not knowing that, hey, he has something going on, or he's pushing the awareness and things like that. So, which is pretty awesome, just to say the least. So let me go ahead and just start reading the article. Again, the article is titled "Craig Melvin Wants to Save Lives After Late Brother Lawrence Ignored Signs of Colon Cancer." And it says, Craig Melvin is turning his loss into an opportunity to save lives. The Today co-anchor recently spoke to People about hosting his upcoming second annual Bottoms Up Invitational, raising awareness and funds for colon cancer in partnership with the Colorectal Cancer Alliance. The 44-year-old introduced the event in honor of his brother Lawrence Meadows, who died in 2020 after a years-long battle with stage 4 colon cancer. Looking back, Melvin admits that a lack of knowledge is ultimately what led to his older brother's death. It goes on to say, the reality is Had Lawrence gotten checked earlier, he might still be with us, he tells people. But we didn't know about our family history, and there were signs that he ignored. And I'm not saying anything that he wouldn't have said when he was alive, he continues. There were abdominal pains. There was blood in the stool. There was weight loss that he just dismissed as other things. Colon or colorectal cancer is the third most common cancer in the world, after lung and breast cancer. The American Cancer Society recommends that adults aged 45 and up get regular colon cancer screenings, either stool analysis or colonoscopies. And they urge people with symptoms of colon cancer, such as a change in bowel movements, including increased diarrhea, rectal bleeding, dark stool, unexpected weight loss, cramping, and excess fatigue, to get checked out by a doctor. However, they emphasize the need for preemptive screening, as these symptoms typically only appear after colon cancer has already spread. We know that this is one of those cancers where if it is discovered early enough, you get the colonoscopy, they see something, boom, they take it out right there, Melvin stresses. The problem arises when you let it go unchecked for not months, but years. The TV personality previously shared how colon cancer robbed his family since watching his brother's battle up close. Melvin has vowed to make the most of that difficult loss. He says, I've always thought that when terrible things happen to you, and terrible things happen to all of us at some point, I think that we're all obligated to take the terrible things and turn them into something positive, he says, which is why he's bringing his fundraiser back. Melvin explains that holding the event on an annual basis was never the plan. After Meadows died, he says he simply knew he wanted to get involved and join the board of the Colorectal Cancer Alliance. Through that connection, he held last year's golf tournament, which shocked him with its success. That was our first year, so we just expected to maybe raise a couple $100,000. And last year, we raised $1.2 million. So when you can get together your friends and some artists and your family, and you can raise that kind of money over a 2-day period, it kind of becomes a no-brainer in terms of doing it again. We couldn't not try to replicate the effort. Let me see. Okay, that does goes on. Let me see. Alongside his wife and Fox Sports newscaster Lindsay Zernick, whose father is a colon cancer survivor, Melvin's Bottom Up Invitational is set to kick off September 24th and 25th in Norwalk, Connecticut. The event highlights a celebrity golf tournament and concert featuring Darius Rucker, Thomas McClary from the Commodores, Branford Marsalis, saxophonist and composer, Ray Bordeaux, The Voice, Preston Poe, and more. He says, we're going to save lives, And I don't say that lightly. It's not Hyper hyperbole. It's not hyperbole. Excuse me. We know that there are a lot of folks in this country that don't get colonoscopies because they can't afford them. We know that there are people who don't know when you are supposed to get a colonoscopy, Melvin says. So the money that's raised goes towards those efforts to efforts and to enlighten, to inform. I mean, part of it is literally getting test kits in communities where they are most needed. So yes, we sing and dance and play golf to save lives. It's great that we've been able to figure out a way to have some fun and still do some good at the same time. Melvin says raising money and awareness for colon cancer is much more difficult than other types of cancer because of the stigma associated with it, which has motivated him even more to stay involved. People don't like to talk about their colons. They don't like to talk about it. They don't like to talk about their rectums. They don't like to talk about blood in their stool. They don't like to talk about colonoscopies, he tells people. So, in addition to just raising awareness and raising funds for it, it's all about destigmatizing it as well. I just didn't know before Lawrence was diagnosed how many people, many of whom were in the prime of their lives, were dealing with this, he says. I had to remind myself during the planning of organizing what's most important. Why are we doing this? You know, I've got a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old. I've got a job that's pretty demanding. I've got other demands in my time outside of work. Why are we doing this? And that's why. Because we know that we're not just saving lives. We know that we're improving the quality of lives as well. And that's a strong motivation. So we're going to keep doing it. Yeah, that was the end of the article, which is a great article because he taking his platform and using it to help bring awareness. I think that's probably the key part. No money, no money. The money really doesn't. It matters and it doesn't. Okay, because the money, yes, goes to try to help find cures and things like that. But I think the biggest part of his platform was trying to destigmatize just the world, or trying to help assist in destigmatizing and getting this information to communities that just lack the knowledge of pre-screening, signs, understanding and knowing the signs that their body might be experiencing. So I definitely want to, say thank you to Craig Melvin, as this is a disease that I'm dealing with currently, and it has metastasized. So, reading that and knowing that he's taken on this journey to get people more involved, get people more aware, is I definitely give him kudos for that. It's not an easy topic to talk about, like he said, and that's all I want to do with my podcast is just bring awareness. Even though I let you know my prognosis and what I'm doing on a daily basis and things like that, this is very, very, this is nice. This is nice to see. And I didn't know that he had a fundraiser. I didn't. So, to know that um, is amazing. And hopefully one day I would be able to get to go to one. I mean, I've never really played golf before, but you know, let's golf, as DJ Khaled would say, right? But no, I'm sure that it's a great event, and it'd be very, very interesting to see, um, or maybe somehow tune in if they. I don't know if it's televised or not, or whatever, but definitely shout out to Craig Melvin. Thank you, and definitely sorry for your loss, and thank you for taking that loss and turning it into a positive for the world, to get to know more about cancer, but more specifically, colon cancer. Thank you. That's my time. Don't forget to tune in, like, share, subscribe. Peace, love,